If artificial intelligence continues advancing, does that mean every career disappears? Probably not. History suggests automation doesn't happen all at once, it happens in waves. Routine work usually changes first, then increasingly complex work. But some jobs remain difficult to automate because they require more than intelligence alone. They require trust, responsibility, judgment, empathy, or the ability to deal with situations that have never happened before. Imagine an emergency room after a major natural disaster. Every patient is different. Resources are limited. Information is complex. Doctors and nurses aren't just following a checklist. They're making difficult decisions under pressure, communicating with families, and adapting as conditions change. AI may become an extraordinary medical assistant, analyzing scans, suggesting diagnoses, and monitoring patients. But many people will still want a human accountable for the final decision, especially in high stakes situations. The same is true for firefighters, police officers, disaster response teams, military leadership. These professions involve unpredictable environments where technology may assist humans rather than replace them completely. Ironically, some of the safest careers over the next decades may not be behind a computer. They may involve tools. Think about what a plumber actually does. Every house is different. Every leak is different. Every repair requires adapting to a unique environment. The same applies to electricians, HVAC technicians, mechanics, construction workers. Humanoid robots are improving rapidly, but operating reliably in messy, unpredictable real-world settings remains a major engineering challenge. That doesn't mean these jobs will never be automated. It means they'll likely be among the last large industries to change. Perhaps the most valuable human skills won't be performing work. It will be deciding what work should be done. Businesses exist because someone identifies a problem worth solving. AI can generate ideas, it can analyze markets, it can write business plans, but humans still define the mission. Should society invest in curing Alzheimer's, building cities on Mars, cleaning the oceans, creating new educational systems? Technology can help answer questions. Humans decide which questions matter. That role should become increasingly valuable. Now imagine something much bigger. Not one robot, not one factory, but billions of intelligent machines working around the clock, factories running 24 hours a day, autonomous farms producing food, construction robots building homes, self-driving trucks transporting goods, AI managing logistics, robots repairing other robots. This is what some economists call a highly automated or robotic-driven economy. Instead of human labor creating most goods and services, machines perform much of the production. If that happens, the cost of producing many products could fall dramatically. Throughout history, when production becomes cheaper, prices often decline. Think about televisions, computers, solar panels. The first versions were expensive. Mass production changed everything. If robots eventually manufactured most physical products, everything from furniture to electronics to household materials could potentially become much less expensive than they are today. That doesn't guarantee every product becomes cheap. Land, scarce natural resources, and luxury goods may remain expensive, but the economics of everyday production could look very different from today. Economists often talk about productivity. Simply put, how much value can be created from 1 hour of work? For centuries, human productivity increased gradually. Then machines accelerated it. AI could accelerate it again, except this time the workers are software that never sleeps, never retires, and can be copied millions of times. If one AI scientist discovers a better battery, every connected AI system could immediately use that knowledge. Imagine billions of digital workers collaborating continuously. The pace of innovation itself could increase. This raises one of the biggest questions of the century. If robots produce most of the world's wealth, who receives that wealth? Today, most people earn money by selling their time. But if businesses increasingly purchase machines instead of hiring workers, the connection between employment and income begins to weaken. One idea proposed in different forms by economists, technologists, and public figures is universal basic income, a regular payment intended to provide everyone with a minimum standard of living. Others have suggested something more ambitious: universal high income. The concept varies depending on who is discussing it, but the central idea is that if automation creates enormous abundance, society could potentially share more of those gains broadly rather than concentrating them among a small number of owners. How such a system would work remains an open question. Some proposals involve taxes on highly automated industries. Others suggest sovereign wealth funds that own shares in productive technologies. Still, others imagine citizens receiving dividends from national investment in AI and robotics. Each approach has trade-offs. Critics argue these systems could be difficult to fund or might reduce incentives to work. Supporters argue that if machines produce unpredictable wealth, new ways of distributing economic benefits may become necessary. The outcome will depend not only on technology, but on public policy, economics, and societal choices. So, after all this, what could be the last jobs humans ever have? Perhaps it isn't building things or driving trucks or writing software. Perhaps the last unique human role is deciding the future, setting goals, creating meaning, establishing ethical boundaries, determining what AI should optimize for. In other words, our most important contribution may no longer be labor. It may be wisdom, because intelligence alone doesn't answer questions like, what kind of civilization do we want? How should technology be used? What risks are worth taking? What values should future generations inherit? Those aren't engineering problems, they're human ones. For thousands of years, civilization has measured success by how hard people work. But what if, for the first time, technology gives us another option? The coming decades won't simply determine which jobs disappear. They'll determine how humanity defines purpose in a world where survival may depend less on labor and more on imagination. The future may not ask, what do you do for a living? Instead, it may ask, what do you want to create? Because if intelligent machines eventually perform nearly every task, the last jobs humans will ever have may simply be deciding what comes next. If you've enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to Future Minds with Steven. Every week we explore the technologies shaping the future, from AI to robotics to biotechnology, quantum computing, and beyond. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.